in the field of psychology, we know that anxiety is a very messy, not so easily defined concept. So our first task here will be our attempt to identify what anxiety is and to explain some of its characteristics. Sexual anxiety simply refers to anxiety that occurs in response to a sexual situation. That is, a sexual situation acts as the trigger. A construct is an idea or a concept that is not observable. Think of anxiety, can't observe it, you can't feel, see, touch, smell it, but it is also a concept that is meaningful in terms of our human experience. We can all relate to it. We all think we felt it at some point. And so we can incorporate it into our language as a way of describing our experiences. Some very simple constructs that we have, and I'll actually use these as examples later on, are the constructs of hunger or sexual desire. The whole basis of a field of psychology that we call insight therapy, psychoanalytic therapy, where in fact the whole idea was to try to understand a person's anxiety by going back in their life into their historical development to understand what the particular triggers are for that anxiety that that person is feeling now. Was it some kind of parental interaction? Was it some kind of fear of abandonment, et cetera, et cetera? This part of the brain is going to be involved in a general alarm response, that is reorienting the person's attention to the situation at hand, reordering priorities, and suggesting what an appropriate response might be. Okay, so functional coping decreases the emotion ultimately by working through these other processes. In comparison, dysfunctional coping may be attempting to reduce the anxiety without necessarily changing these boxes here. So for example, think of the use of drugs is one way to reduce the anxiety, but it's a short-term, a temporary measure, because in the long run, these situations, the stimulus and the appraisal will still be unchanged and the anxiety will return. And if you think about it, the ability to choose one thought over another, this is the essence of cognitive behavioral psychology. We can choose to think this way about our emotional response or this situation, and in doing